Thank you, India. I did that bad on purpose. Katie's like, oh, Danny.
Welcome, patrons. This is our bonus after show to our two-part Jag and Little Pill series, which hopefully you've listened to. I'm Katie.
And I'm Danny. Sorry, I was yawning.
It is a Saturday morning.
I know.
To be fair, I did offer Danny some coffee when she got here, but she declined.
I already drank mine, and yesterday I drank more coffee than I normally do, and I had trouble sleeping. I'm at that point in age where you have a cutoff time for caffeine, and I went past it and I paid. So now I am extra tired. So look what I did to myself.
Look what you did. That's okay. That's okay. We love it. I'm sure listeners understand.
Oh, I know.
The coffee cutoff. Yeah. So we have something special we want to talk about today, which is just essentially why we started this podcast, which we kind of talk about in early episodes, but we're going to expand a little for everyone.
Yay.
But first, I wanted to say a huge congrats to Danny and talk about this for a second.
Oh, no.
Because,
We didn't talk about this.
Oh, yes. This is why I said I'm going to start this bonus episode. Last weekend, we had our huge end of season award ceremony at the theater where we perform, the Henniger Center. And Danny was awarded what I would argue the biggest award of the night, which is the Director's Award. She was not
Oh my God, I'm so embarrassed still.
prepared. I will say, I didn't know that you were going to win this, but as soon as Dominic Del Bracco, he's the artistic director at the Henniger, so he gives away this award. He picks the person that gets this award. Started talking, I knew it was you.
Oh, that's what my husband said.
I looked at Brant and I said, it's Danny.
And that's what my husband and Kaden looked at each other and they were saying that. But that's my family. So of course they're going to be
right.
And that was, I'm so okay, guys. So of our listeners that are hearing this, one of you was there. I was not expecting to win anything by myself that night because I was in a few shows this season, but I was in the ensemble. So I knew so I was only nominated for best ensemble role. So I'm like, oh, if I win, I'm going to go up with people. I wasn't performing. It was a low stress night. So I was just there to have a good time, everyone. And I was having my cocktails and la 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 la. And then you get called on stage, and I am okay with speaking in front of people, but I also am not the best with what's the right word? Polished speaking in front of people. And I said a curse word within the first 5 seconds. And
she did.
I am so embarrassed that I did this because my brain just took over my mouth.
It was great. It was so great.
I didn't know what I said except that. And then I thanked my husband at the end. I panicked. And I just yesterday, because then you replay shit in your head and you're like, oh my God. I was like, Troy, did I even say thank you to Dominic for giving me the award? He's like, oh yeah, you thank Dominic and Jared and Mel and Ben.
You really did. You had a nice long laundry list. So it was fine. I don't think you left anyone out. It was great.
Oh man.
It was great. But I mean, I think if it would have been polished, it would have been weird. Because it was clear that you were surprised and not expecting it.
And the reason I'll just go ahead and say what I said. The funny thing is, so when Katie and I, which we're about to talk about this even more, when Katie and I were in Joseph together, this is when the phrase I uttered on stage started, because I had this joke that I was like, I'm just happy to be here. I'm a back row bitch, and I'm fine with that because I'm a middle-aged lady in an ensemble who can dance, but cannot dance like a 20-year-old. Okay. Right.
Yeah.
So I'm in the back row a lot, and I'm an alto. So I'm not a front row soprano. I'm a blendy singer. These are all things I'm aware of. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm not sad about it. I am 1000% down with being a back row bitch. Guys, I totally said that on stage.
She's like, I can't believe this. I'm just a back row bitch. Loud into the mic.
Loud
and I was
into the microphone.
I was dying.
Thank God everybody laughed.
Everybody laughed.
I had to walk off stage for 1 second.
Well, that was the funny part. She disappeared.
I did.
So she's small
I had to catch my breath.
She's small anyway. So she's like, were you? Oh, I guess you had heels on. She's
did.
Trying to even be over the podium to talk.
I know.
And then she just boop, disappears. As soon as she said that, she's like gone.
Mortified.
And everyone's laughing. And then she kind of like pops back.
Yeah.
I told y'all before, Danny's a meerkat.
I know, I am a meerkat.
And she really was in that moment.
But,
she really was.
So I said that. And then, of course, afterwards, everybody was like, oh my God, back row bitch. I need a shirt, blah, blah, blah. And Bobby, our friend Bobby was like, I cannot believe you said that.
I loved it. I thought it was great.
A running joke for every show I was in. Yeah. Like, I was like, I'm just happy. Like, I'm a back row bitch. I'm here and I'm happy about it. Like, I'm okay. And so, but that was, I can't believe you brought that up. But like, it was, when I tell y'all I don't have trophies, I don't have awards, like, I just don't. I never played sports.
You do now.
I've got one. And I said to my husband, like, should I just carry that with me when I go into my next audition? Like,
you should.
Don't forget.
Just like stand there, like, don't even reference it. Just hold it like between your two hands.
Just hold it
in the center of your body and
bless.
sing your audition. I think so.
It is very surprising when you are someone who is not, in a lead role or a supporting role or a whatever kind of role, that you are like, not that there's nothing wrong with being in the ensemble, but you're not usually like individually recognized.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was very shocking and very, very appreciative.
That might be a new award they should do, because for each show they have like lead actor, lead actress.
Yeah.
Maybe they should have best ensemble performer for each show. That would be a good idea.
That would be. But that would be hard because that's so many people.
It is, but I mean,
but it could.
But you would only, I guess it would be up to the directors because they nominate everyone else, and then you vote.
Right.
And so you would just nominate one from each show.
Yeah.
Man or woman or child.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
It's an idea.
Oh, yeah. Well, anyway. My kid won too, which was really fun. It was his birthday.
That too. Yeah. Cooper won for Best Youth Performer on the main stage.
Fun.
He was so cute. And by the way, he did have a speech and it was polished.
Oh,
and it was so good.
Complete. So that made me look even more ridiculous because he won his award first. And when he walked in there, hand in his pocket, like in his little sparkly jacket, and was just like, he said, "Thank you to everyone who voted for me and to everyone who didn't." So he got a nice little cackle.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was adorable. And I was like, he planned that.
Oh, yeah. He paused for laughter.
Right?
But I mean, that just shows you he deserves it. And he didn't disappear like a meerkat. In fact, he's like, forget this podium. He just walked right out to the middle where you could see him head to toe. He was like, I am not standing at this podium. He had a little handheld mic. He was like, here I am, everyone.
Well, I think they handed him the mic because he couldn't reach the podium.
Okay, maybe.
I think that's what it was. But then, he was just like, la, 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 la.
He kept like going right to, not all the way to center stage, but like to the center of like that lit part. Yeah, he was great. So congratulations. And when we're in another show, neither of us are rehearsing for a show right now. We'll let y'all know.
Yeah.
So you can come, whether it's Danny or me or both of us. Fingers crossed.
Both of us. Yay.
Both of us. Fingers crossed for a Christmas Story. Okay. So anyway, we'll just put that out into the universe to our patrons. So what we really wanted to talk about today that Danny is prepared for is the why of this podcast. And we've referenced, we revisit, we remember, we relearn, and that's so true. So it's true. Danny and I met almost about a year ago.
Yeah.
Maybe a little over a year now. Last summer, let's put it that way, when we were rehearsing for Joseph. And I kind of seen her because our kids were in a show that summer. But before that show, I didn't know her. I didn't know Cooper, nothing. And I have done podcasts in the past. I had one called The Morning Four for years. That was just me, like, giving you fun facts to get your day started and things like that. And that was a lot of fun. I did like 350 episodes. And then I was like, oh, okay, I'm done.
I'm done. That's a lot.
It's a lot. And it was fun, but I was like, okay, I'm ready to do something else. It was feeling formulaic. I was like, I'm moving on. But I had been thinking, gosh, I really want to get back into podcasting. So I'd been talking to my teenage kids. And I was like, what if we did like a Generations podcast where we switch off? So like I bring something that you might not know about from my youth and explain it to you, and you ask me questions. And then you bring something like Snapchat. Tell me about it. And then I ask you all my questions. And my kids were like, oh, that'd be kind of fun, blah, blah, blah. But then, of course, like they're like, well, I don't really want to be on a podcast because they're teenagers. And then even more, I started to think, oh, well, what if it like took off and then all these strangers are listening to my kids? And I was just like,
and
let's shelve it. My kids are busy.
Yeah.
So are yours. Yeah. And so I kind of shelved it, but I was like, I like that idea of like talking about things that maybe aren't a thing anymore.
Yeah.
With someone. So then when Danny and I were talking, maybe you remember, I don't remember the exact moment. I think I ended up texting you about it.
Which is so appropriate.
Yeah.
Because we talk by text constantly.
Constantly.
So it's so funny. Yeah. It was a text.
So her and I would joke around at rehearsals about like our ages and like our capabilities. And then we'd be
back
like,
row bitch, see?
Yeah, back row bitch. And we'd be like, hey, remember this thing? Remember that thing? And then like I loved her aesthetic because she had like the like bright colors and the Lisa Frank kind of look. And so we would just, and then we found out we were close in age. And then I'd been like, I was like, oh, we're Xennials or something like that. And you either asked me what it was or you knew. I can't remember. You're like, what do you mean? And I was like, oh, that's what it is. So then I think I just sent you this like paragraphs long text that should have been an email, y'all.
Which Katie does. She does long. She does. Because she has to do it while it's in her brain. I get it.
So sometimes you'll get it at 4 a.m. and I don't expect a response. Good. It's like, I have time right now to tell you all these things that you can process at your own convenience.
At your own leisure.
But I will not have time to tell you later. Yeah. So here it is. We should be able to schedule text. We can schedule emails.
You probably can. It's just we don't know how.
Oh, yeah. Someone's going to be like, you can, and here's how you do it. So I texted you basically. I was like, oh, I had this idea, the one I just described. And I was like, but that's not going to work. What if we just talk about the things from our generation and then maybe down the line we could have a teen on or someone from a generation above us or whatever to talk about their things. And you seemed excited about it.
Oh, yeah. It's funny because I've always thought like one of my dream jobs was to be a talk show host.
Yes.
Okay. Or a game show host.
Oh my God.
I want to do that.
Yes. You'd be so good at that.
Or an MTV VJ. Look, I have all these, it's like a laundry list of things. If I was Katie and actually had like the initiative to like have 15 jobs, maybe I would.
Every idea I have turns into a thing. Seriously.
It really does. And see, I have all the ideas and they just sit. So
we probably need somewhere in the middle.
I know.
Because mine is not great. Yours is not great.
Have so many ideas and they just sit there. But my sister and I like love podcasts, and there was one that we listened to all the time, and it was Glennon Doyle's, and her and her sister and her wife were all on there.
Yeah,
and we were like, oh, we would kill at a podcast, blah blah blah. But of course, we know zero negative things about how to do a podcast, right? So when you texted me that, I was so excited. I was like, Troy, this new friend of mine named Katie wants me to do a podcast with her. And he's like, great.
It's like, thanks, new friend, Katie, whoever you
are.
How
are we going to do that? I'm like, I don't know. I still don't know how we do it. I just show up. But yes, I was so excited. And then we kind of just shot back ideas like on how to kind of flesh it out. And I feel like we didn't really get in a flow till we were past a few episodes.
Agree.
Yeah.
We tried to get ahead on a few because I wanted to, if we were going to, I think we released a couple when we launched.
We recorded like 8 episodes.
Okay.
And then
rolled out like 3 and then started doing like 1 a week. And then we were going into the holiday season because I think we went live in November.
And then Christmas Carol.
And we were both in Christmas Carol, and so were our kids. So it was like, that was the thing. I was like, well, I don't want to start releasing them until we're sure we can like get through. And then, I would say after that first 8-pack, which was good. There's great content in there. You can go back there and listen. We started to get more of like the flow of what we wanted. And just when we thought we were flowing, we had all sorts of sound issues, which we are pretty sure Brant has remedied. We just need to make sure when we have guests, we've got it fixed.
Yeah.
A big shout out to my husband, Brant, and to Spiros, who has helped us with some of our, we found him on Fiverr and he's amazing, who's helped us with a few things. And also my friends over at the Crime and Coffee couple, Mike and Allison, because I know they record at home because they actually do video and post it on YouTube. They're brave.
One day.
They're brave. And they look amazing and do a great job of it. And so I know they're in their house. They've made like a little alcove where they can podcast. So I wrote to them and they sent me a bunch of stuff. So it's been great, like everyone sort of coming together for us because they want to hear what we have to say, which is really nice. And they want to like make sure other people find us and can hear us. So hopefully, we're still learning. We're still growing.
We're getting there.
I know when we had, 10 episodes, we did like 10 things we've learned so far. We're getting close to 50. I don't want to do 50 things we've learned.
No,
but
5.
Maybe we could do like 5. But we should do that again.
We should.
Because I think some of the original things we put on there were like the terms we use for things. I mean, we weren't terrible, but there were a few times we said things that we were like, that doesn't sound so great. We shouldn't refer to things as that or whatever.
Yeah.
And just in general, like how we talk about things and interrupting each other.
We still do that.
We're much better.
I'm the worst.
No.
I just said this in another interview, which we'll talk about another time. for another thing. And I was saying, like, this has been an ongoing problem since I was a kid. Like, my mom used to tell me, listening is not just waiting for your turn to talk. And it wasn't that I wasn't listening. I don't know. It's an ADHD thing for sure. I know. But
I think too, it's when you're excited about something.
Oh, yeah.
I think it comes, I mean, because I do it too. I think it comes from a good place where you're like, I have something to contribute to what you're saying, and I love what you're talking about. And so I have to stop myself when I'm talking to my kids, my friends, on the podcast with you or our guests, and just be like, that's cool that I have something to say or it's exciting. Either wait for the opening or just like don't say it. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it won't add to anything. And I've learned that a lot in this podcast too. So yeah, we'll have to do like a things we've learned social posts. So anyway, well, I just wanted to touch on those two things today. Patrons, thanks for joining us on Patreon. And we appreciate you guys. Because of you, we are able to do things like pay someone to help us with sound help when we need it. We're getting our website up and running, and it's not that expensive, but we have to pay for a domain. We're gonna have some merch soon. So every little bit that you all contribute helps build that, and hopefully our end goal there is a better experience for you interacting with Generation in Between. So thank you for that, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.